The galaxy was dying. At first, no one believed it. The stars still burned bright. The ships still moved through the dark, and the great empires still fought their endless wars. But something strange had started to happen in the corners of the Milky Way. One by one, stars were fading, not exploding, not going supernova, just vanishing. Entire systems turned cold and silent overnight. No light, no heat, no life. The Galactic Council gathered on the shining world of Kethar Prime. It was a city built in the clouds, filled with the wisest and oldest beings from across the stars, the Voth from the crystal worlds, the Zelnar with their silver skin, and the radiant Thorians who lived inside suns themselves. They all came seeking answers. But answers did not come. The Council's chamber was silent. Only the deep hum of the energy shields filled the air. "Reports confirm it," said Elder Soren of the Voth. His voice echoed softly. "More than 200 stars have gone dark in the past solar cycle. Whatever is causing this, it spreads." A Thorian delegate spoke next, his body glowing faintly like a dying flame. "It's not natural. Something is feeding on the stars," the Council murmured. Fear, a rare feeling among such ancient beings, spread like a shadow across the hall. "If we do nothing," said another voice, "the galaxy will freeze within 1,000 years." But still, no one moved. No one volunteered to act. The Radians claimed they were too weak after the last war. The Voth said they would study it from a safe distance. The Zelnar refused to send ships, fearing it might anger whatever was out there. Everyone waited. Everyone hesitated, until a small voice spoke from the back of the chamber. It was not loud. It was not powerful. But it carried something the others had long forgotten. Courage. "We'll go," said the human envoy. The chamber turned silent again. All eyes, dozens, hundreds, glowing and blinking, turned toward the speaker. Ambassador Mira Hayes stood alone, dressed in a simple dark uniform with the blue crest of Earth on her shoulder. She was the only human in the room, and by far the youngest. "You?" Elder Soren said, his voice cold. "Your kind still struggles to reach the edge of your own solar system. What could you possibly do?" Mira didn't flinch. "Maybe nothing. But at least we'll try." Laughter filled the chamber. Deep, cruel laughter from beings older than her entire species. One of the Thorians leaned forward, his glowing eyes burning brighter. "Humans are reckless. You fight when you should hide. You build when you should rest. You think the galaxy needs your help." Mira looked up at him and said softly, "No, but someone does." The laughter stopped. For a moment, even the air seemed to pause. Elder Soren folded his hands. "Very well, human. Go and see your doom. When you fail, remember, we warned you." Mira nodded, turned, and walked out of the hall. She did not look back. Outside the council chambers, her small crew waited. 12 humans, soldiers, scientists, and engineers, stood beside a single ship, the Dawnlight. It was smaller than the great alien cruisers, but built with human hands and human hearts. They all knew what the council thought of them: weak, primitive, foolish. But they also knew something else. When others turned away, humanity stepped forward. As the Dawnlight rose from Kethar Prime, hundreds of alien eyes watched from above. Some with pity, some with disgust, and a few with quiet respect. The stars shimmered outside the viewport. Mira stood on the bridge staring into the endless black. "Do you really think we can do this?" her pilot asked quietly. Mira smiled faintly. "Doesn't matter. Someone has to." The ship entered jump space, leaving a streak of blue light behind. The human mission had begun, but far behind them, in the darkness between stars, something stirred, an ancient presence, older than the Council, older than any known life. Watched the tiny human vessel vanish into the void. It did not think. It did not breathe. But it knew. The humans had moved, and so it moved too. In the cold silence of deep space, thousands of faint signals pulsed in rhythm, like a heartbeat echoing across the galaxy. Something was waking up, something that had slept for eons. Back on Earth, news of the mission spread. Many were proud. Some were afraid, but one thing was certain. Humanity had crossed a line it could never return from. They were no longer the quiet newcomers of the galaxy. They were now part of its fate, and as the dawnlight flew deeper into the dark, the stars around them began to flicker, one by one, as if whispering a warning. The galaxy was crying for help. and for the first time in 1,000 years, someone had answered. The stars stretched into long blue lines as the dawn light crossed into deep space. Inside the ship, everything hummed with soft energy, the sound of humanity's hope echoing in metal and glass. Captain Mira Hayes stood on the bridge, hands behind her back, eyes fixed on the endless dark. The galaxy had laughed at her people, but she didn't care. Humanity had faced impossible odds before: wars, hunger, extinction, and still survived. This mission was no different. "Status?" she asked. "Engines stable. Shields holding. Navigation locked on the coordinates from the Council report," replied Lieutenant Aaron Vale, her second in command. "Good," Mira said quietly. "Let's find out what's killing the stars." Back on Earth, the world had changed overnight. For the first time in history, all nations worked together under one flag, the United Earth Command. Factories in Asia, Europe, and the Americas ran without rest. They were building something new, a secret project known only as Operation Dawnlight. Humanity's greatest minds united to create ships unlike anything before. Sleek, fast, built with adaptive armor and light reactive cores. They were small compared to alien fleets, but efficient, smart, and fearless, just like the people who made them. In less than a year, 12 ships were born, the Dawnlight and her 11 sisters. Together they formed the first human expeditionary fleet. When the fleet launched, crowds filled every city on Earth. Children pointed to the sky. Old soldiers saluted. They all watched those 12 streaks of light vanish into the unknown, carrying humanity's courage into the heart of the galaxy. Weeks passed in the void. The fleet crossed dead systems, places where suns had once burned bright, but now floated as cold black stones. Sensors showed nothing. No radiation, no debris, just silence. It was as if the light itself had been erased. "This doesn't make sense," said Dr. Chen, the ship's lead scientist. "Even if the stars died naturally, we'd find traces: dust, heat, plasma. But there's nothing." Mira frowned. "It's like something swallowed them whole. Or drained them," Dr. Chen whispered. Her words hung heavy in the air. Then, on the 43rd day of the mission, something finally appeared on their scanners. A faint energy reading. Weak, but alive, from the edge of an uncharted system. "Signal detected," Aaron said, eyes wide. "It's coming from the last star in this region." "Put it on screen," Mira ordered. The view shifted, showing a single star burning weakly in the distance, surrounded by strange, dark clouds. The light around it seemed to bend, like reality itself was being pulled inward. "Is that a black hole?" someone asked. Dr. Chen shook her head. "No, the gravitational pull doesn't match. This is something else." As they moved closer, the ship's sensors began to pick up something new, whispers. Not radio signals, not static voices. "Help us." A faint sound echoed through the comms. Everyone froze. "Is that a distress call?" Dr. Chen increased the signal strength. The voices grew clearer, thousands of overlapping whispers like wind moving through glass. "Help us! Help us! Help us!" Mira's heart raced. "Where is it coming from?" "Everywhere," said Aaron quietly. "It's coming from the star itself." They launched probes to study the strange phenomenon. Each probe transmitted data for a few seconds before being pulled into the dark clouds and disappearing. "The energy field around the star is eating our machines," Dr. Chen said. "Then we go in manually," Mira replied. The crew stared at her in shock. "Captain, that's suicide." "Maybe," she said, "but we came here to find answers." "We can't turn back now," she ordered the Dawnlight forward. The ship moved into the dark mist surrounding the dying star. The light dimmed. The temperature dropped. Static filled the comms. "Readings? Unstable, Captain. The energy levels are off the charts. It's like the star is bleeding light." Suddenly the ship shuddered. The hull creaked as something unseen brushed against it, like fingers scraping metal. "Shields holding?" "Barely." The whispers grew louder. Now they were inside the ship, echoing through every speaker. "Who are you?" Mira shouted. "What do you want?" For a moment there was silence. Then a single voice spoke. "Calm, broken, and sad, they are coming," it said. The lights flickered. Then everything went black. When systems came back online, the crew found themselves far from their last position, thrown hundreds of kilometers away by some unknown force. The star they had approached was now completely dark. No light, no signal, no whispers, Dr. Chen stared at the readings in disbelief. It's gone. The entire star. It's gone. Mira's voice was quiet. No, something took it. A long silence filled the bridge. Then from deep space another signal appeared, a pattern repeating over and over. It wasn't random. It was a message. Mira leaned forward, eyes narrowed. Translate it. The computer processed the strange code. The words appeared on the screen in human language. The stars are dying. The darkness is alive. The crew exchanged uneasy looks. Mira stood tall. Send this to the other ships. Tell them to regroup. We're not alone out here. As the dawnlight turned toward the next system, unseen in the darkness behind them, a massive shadow moved, silent, vast, and watching. Something ancient had noticed humanity's arrival, and it was awake now. The message kept repeating through the ship's speakers. The stars are dying. The darkness is alive. No one on the dawnlight spoke for a long time. The words felt heavy, too real to ignore, too strange to believe. Captain Mira Hayes stared at the fading star on the screen. A few hours ago it had burned bright. Now it was gone, like someone had reached into the sky and stolen it. Run the data again, she ordered. Dr. Chen's hands moved quickly across the console. There's no mistake, Captain. The star didn't collapse. It was drained, all energy gone, completely empty. Mira frowned. Drained by what? Before anyone could answer, a proximity alarm screamed. Red lights flashed across the bridge. Contact. Something's moving behind us! The crew rushed to their stations. The scanners picked up a massive energy field closing fast, bigger than any ship known to exist. Visual, Mira commanded. At first, the screen showed only darkness. Then something huge moved across the stars, blacker than space itself, like a hole cut into reality. The shape was impossible to describe. It wasn't made of metal or light. It seemed alive, shifting, pulsing, growing. Dr. Chen whispered, My God. It's feeding. They watched as a nearby star flickered, dimmed, and then went completely dark. The creature, the thing, stretched long tendrils of shadow toward the light, wrapping around it like hands crushing a heart. Within seconds, the star was gone. Everyone on the bridge stared in horror. What is that? Whispered Aaron Vale. Dr. Chen's voice trembled. It's not natural, it's consuming the stars for power. Mira looked at the data. The Star Eater, she said quietly. That's what it is. The fleet regrouped. 11 ships formed a loose perimeter, surrounding the dawnlight. No one had seen anything like it. The alien races had told stories of dark gods and sleeping machines, myths meant to scare children. But this was real. The Star Eater moved slowly but with purpose, like a predator that knew it had no equal. We can't fight that, said Commander Holt from the Dauntless, one of the other ships. We don't even understand what it is. Mira's reply was calm. We're not here to run. We're here to learn. The fleet followed the creature from a distance, tracking its movements through the void. Wherever it went, stars vanished. Systems went cold. Every planet it passed turned dark, not destroyed, just empty, like something had taken their life away. After days of following, Dr. Chen found something strange. Captain, look at this, she said. The creature isn't eating randomly. It's moving in a pattern. The holographic map displayed dozens of dark systems. Together they formed a spiral, a path leading toward the center of the galaxy. It's heading somewhere, Mira said. But where? That night, if night could exist in space, Mira stood alone in the observation deck. Stars shimmered faintly outside the glass, but she could see the shadow far away, a dark spot moving among the lights. She thought of Earth, of the people who had watched them leave. Of the children who believed humans could save the galaxy. Are we really enough? She whispered to herself. Behind her, Dr. Chen entered quietly. Captain, the Council received our signal. They say... They can't help. Mira didn't turn around. I expected that. They said it's suicide to fight something that eats suns. Mira finally looked at her. Then it's our suicide. The next day, the human fleet prepared for their first real battle. The engineers activated the solar lance, a prototype weapon powered by the light of captured stars. It had never been tested, not even on Earth. The plan was simple. The Dawnlight and 2 other ships would lure the creature close. Then the rest of the fleet would fire the solar lance at its core. It sounded simple. It wasn't. The Star Eater sensed them long before they were ready. The void around them rippled like water. Then from the blackness it came, a moving storm of shadows and light, fire. Mira shouted. The ships unleashed beams of pure energy, streams of light cutting through the dark. For a moment, the creature stopped. The light hit something, a core deep inside it, and the darkness screamed. Not sound, but vibration shaking the entire fleet. We're hurting it. Aaron shouted, keep firing. But then, the creature moved faster than light. Its tendrils struck 2 ships, the Horizon and the Dauntless. Both vanished in seconds. 2 ships down. Someone cried. The Solar Lance charged one last time. Mira pushed the command herself. A final beam burst forward, hitting the creature's heart. There was an explosion of light, brighter than 1,000 sun, and then silence. When the light faded, the creature was gone, but the scanners showed something still there, small fragments, floating in space. Dr. Chen examined the data. Her voice shook as she read the report. Captain, it's not alive. It's mechanical. Built, not born. Mira turned slowly. Built by who? Dr. Chen looked at the readings again. I don't know. But it's not just feeding. It's collecting energy. For something. Mira stared into the void. The thought sent chills through her. What if it's building something? Silence filled the bridge again. Around them the stars twinkled. Calm, distant, unaware. The fleet had survived, barely. But every crew member knew the truth. This wasn't the end. It was the beginning. Somewhere out there in the dark between galaxies, something was still working, using stolen starlight to power a machine no one could imagine. And humanity, once again, was the only one brave or foolish enough to follow. The human fleet drifted in silence. All around them floated the remains of the Star Eater, fragments of dark metal and frozen light. The space it had filled was now empty and still, as if the galaxy itself was holding its breath. Inside the dawn light, the lights flickered weakly. The ship had survived, but barely. Captain Mira Hayes stood on the bridge, her face pale under the dim emergency glow. Status? 7 ships left, Aaron Vale reported quietly. Half the fleet is gone. Engines are unstable. We're running low on energy. Mira nodded. But we're still alive. No one answered. Everyone was thinking the same thing. They had faced a god and survived. But deep down, Mira knew this wasn't victory. Hours later, Dr. Chen finished scanning the Star Eater's remains. Her voice trembled as she spoke. Captain, I think I found something. What is it? It's not a creature. It's a machine, and there's something inside it. The crew gathered around the display. The scan showed a strange core hidden within the debris, a sphere of metal covered in unknown symbols. It's still active, Dr. Chen said. It's sending a signal. Somewhere. Where? She pointed at the star map. The coordinates glowed faintly in the center of the galaxy, a place no one had ever reached. The signal is leading there, she said. Something called the Forge. Mira's eyes narrowed. Set course. Aaron hesitated. Captain, we don't even know what it is. The Council won't help, she interrupted. They already turned their backs. If we don't find out what the Forge is, the galaxy will die anyway. And that was the end of the argument. Back on Kethar Prime, the Galactic Council received the humans' message about the Star Eater. Fear spread faster than light. They destroyed one, gasped Elder Soren of the Voth. Impossible! The Thorian delegate's light dimmed in disbelief. If the humans anger the Builders, we are all doomed. Builders? Another asked. The Thorian's glow flickered uneasily. Old legends. Before the first civilizations, before even our kind, there were the Builders of the Void. They made machines that could shape suns and move galaxies. And then they vanished. The council chamber fell silent. Vanished? Someone repeated. No, said the Thorian. They left something behind. The council looked at each other, fear in every face, and far away, unaware of the panic they had caused. Humanity was already on its way to find the Forge. The journey took weeks. The fleet traveled deeper into space than any living thing had ever gone. Stars grew fewer. The light dimmed. The blackness became thicker, almost alive. Everyone could feel it, a weight pressing on their minds, whispering thoughts that weren't their own. Do you hear that? One crew member asked. What? The voices. They're back. The same whispers they had heard near the dying stars now filled their dreams. words they couldn't understand. Pleas for help, cries of pain. Some crew members couldn't sleep. Some stopped talking altogether. Still, Mira pushed forward. On the 62nd day, they saw it. At first, it looked like a dark storm in space, massive and endless. Then, as they moved closer, its true shape appeared. The Forge, a machine the size of a star cluster. It looked like an enormous wheel of metal and stone, spinning slowly in the void. Beams of energy stretched out from its center, connecting to broken suns around it. It was draining them, just like the Star Eater. Dr. Chen whispered, "It's feeding power into the core." But for what? Mira stared in awe. Maybe it's building something, or restarting something. She remembered what Dr. Chen had said about the old legends, the builders of the void. What if this was their creation? A machine to restart the universe itself, but something had gone wrong. Suddenly alarms blared. "The Forge is powering up," Aaron shouted. "Energy levels are off the charts." On the screen, massive energy waves began to pulse outward. Stars nearby started to collapse. Their light sucked into the machine. Dr. Chen's face turned pale. "If this continues, it'll consume the entire galaxy." Mira clenched her fists. "Shut it down. Captain, we don't even know how." "Then we'll learn." The fleet moved closer to the core. Small drones were launched to scan its structure. The data came back strange. A human couldn't even process it. "It's rewriting physics," Dr. Chen said. "This machine doesn't follow any known law. It's trying to restart reality itself." Mira felt a chill crawl down her spine. "Can we destroy it?" Dr. Chen looked at her. "Yes, but someone would have to stay behind to trigger the overload manually." The bridge went quiet. Everyone knew what that meant. Mira looked around at her tired, brave crew, humans who had left their homes to fight for a galaxy that didn't believe in them. She spoke softly. "Prepare the charges." As the humans began their final operation, the Forge reacted. The air around the ships trembled. The whispers returned, louder, clearer now. This time they were words. "We built to save, not destroy." Mira froze. "It's talking." Dr. Chen's eyes widened. "Captain, the Forge is alive. We made the light. We made the stars. But the void consumed us." The voice faded. Then silence. Mira whispered, "Maybe it wants to die." And with that, she gave the final command, "Arm all weapons. Prepare to finish this." The fleet turned toward the Forge, a small line of fragile human ships facing a god-sized machine. They were humanity's last hope, and as they moved forward, the stars themselves seemed to hold their breath. The Forge loomed before them, bigger than any imagination could hold. Its spinning core pulsed with stolen starlight, casting shadows that swallowed the fleet. The humans were tired. Half of their ships were gone. Every sensor warned of danger. Every crew member felt fear, but they were not turning back. Captain Mira Hayes stood on the bridge of the Dawnlight, her hands resting lightly on the console. Around her, the crew worked silently, checking weapons, scanning systems, preparing for what might be their final mission. "This is it," Mira whispered. "Everything depends on us." Aaron Vale glanced at her. "Do we even have a plan?" "Yes," she said. Her eyes were steady. "We have courage, and we have hope." The fleet approached the Forge carefully. The massive machine seemed to sense them, and the air trembled with energy. Whispers filled the ships again. This time it was louder, urgent, almost human. "Do not destroy, or all will end." Dr. Chen studied the signal. "It's asking for help. It doesn't want to destroy the galaxy. It wants to be stopped." Mira nodded. "Then we'll do it. We'll stop it, by any cost." She gave orders to deploy the solar lance, the last weapon they had built, but even its power wouldn't be enough from a distance. Someone had to enter the core, manually trigger the overload, and destroy the Forge from within. There was a long silence. Mira turned to her crew. "I'll do it." "No, Captain," Aaron protested. "There has to be another way." "There isn't," Mira said quietly. "Someone has to go in. If I don't, the galaxy dies. If I do, maybe we save everyone else." Her crew understood. They nodded solemnly, tears in their eyes, but no one argued. Humanity had faced impossible odds before. They would do it again. Mira suited up for the mission. Her faceplate reflected the fading light of the last nearby stars. She checked the controls, the life support, the weapons, every system ready. The fleet formed a protective line around the dawnlight as Mira piloted toward the spinning core. Inside, the forge hummed, alive with energy. The machine pulsed with power beyond comprehension, stretching light and shadow in ways that hurt the eyes. You are brave, the forge whispered, but this will cost you. I know, Mira replied. It's worth it. She fired the docking cables and maneuvered the ship into the heart of the core. Every second felt like an eternity. The hum of the forge grew louder. The light around her ship warped and twisted. Inside the core, Mira saw the source of its power, a sphere of light and metal, spinning faster than time itself. She knew what to do. Activate the overload manually. But to do it, she had to remain inside. Her ship would not survive the blast. She transmitted her last message to the fleet. This is Captain Mira Hayes. I am entering the core. If I succeed, the forge will be destroyed. If I fail, remember that humanity came when no one else would. Keep the fleet safe. Protect the galaxy. Goodbye. Her voice trembled slightly, but there was no fear. Only resolve. The crew watched from outside as the dawnlight moved deeper into the core. Energy waves shook the fleet. The stars around them flickered, like the galaxy itself was screaming in pain. Then the solar lance fired. Light pierced the forge, but it wasn't enough. Only Mira inside could finish the job. Good luck, Captain, Aaron whispered. The forge's whispers grew frantic. Do not destroy. The builders will return. Mira ignored it. She pressed the final sequence. The overload began. The core shone brighter than 1,000 suns. The spinning sphere fractured. Light exploded outward. For a moment, everything stopped. Then the forge collapsed in on itself. Energy waves swept across the void, dissolving shadows, returning stolen light to the stars. The darkness vanished. The stolen starlight returned to planets and suns across the galaxy. The survivors of the human fleet watched in awe, and Mira was gone. Silence followed. Then, one by one, small sparks of light appeared in the distance. Stars reborn, systems returning to life, worlds glowing where once there was only emptiness. The galaxy had been saved. Aaron Vale spoke quietly, his voice shaking. She did it. She saved everything. Dr. Chen nodded, tears rolling down her cheeks. Humanity answered the call, when no one else would. Across the stars, whispers returned, gentle, peaceful this time. Thank you. No one knew where the voice came from. Perhaps from the forge, perhaps from the stars themselves. Back on Earth, the news spread slowly. The missing fleet returned one by one. 12 ships had left, but only 7 survived. Still, the story was told in every city, every village, every home. When the galaxy cried for help, humanity answered. Even the smallest world, the youngest species, had stepped forward. Even when the odds were impossible, even when the cost was beyond imagination, humans stood tall. And somewhere in the heart of the galaxy, a single message remained. The builders of the void sleep no more. But humanity showed the light. Their courage will be remembered. Captain Mira Hayes was gone, but her name and the bravery of all humans who followed her became legend. The stars shone brighter than ever. The galaxy was alive again, and humanity had truly stepped forward.